Good morning, learners and all viewers, wherever you are. My name is Mr. Paul Chilola once again, your anchor on this channel, where we present to you different subjects. If you're a student, you have the privilege to learn different subjects which would prepare you for your exams. Whether you are an MSCE candidate or a Cambridge candidate, it is on this platform where you come and learn for free, entirely for free. So our lessons do not attract any fees. All right? You simply have to buy yourself internet data, log in into the internet, and visit this channel. You'll find everything that has to do with your learning and schooling. Thank you. Without much ado, let's quickly jump to the topic of the day today. The topic of the day today is effects of teacher-student sexual relationships on teaching and learning. So we are going to discuss on our topic, effects of teacher-student sexual relationships on teaching and learning. You might have heard in your school or elsewhere, maybe read in the newspaper, or a friend narrated to you that such a teacher is in a sexual relationship with such a student. All right? So you may also have heard or read in newspaper or heard on radio or TV that such cases are on the rise, where a small girl in maybe standard 6, standard 7, 8, or Form 1, Form 2, and so on, even in college, a teacher falling into a trap, the trap of sexual relationship with his or her student. So we are going to examine how this tendency, the practice, affects the child's teaching and learning. All right, so I would urge you to watch the whole video up to the end. As you watch, I know you may generate some questions. Don't hesitate to forward those questions to me, or you can simply ask your question under the comment section on this very channel. It is a serious matter which needs serious discussion. So this is not to be an infotainment for the viewers or for the learners. It is for you to make a decision. If you are a teacher watching this video now, at the end, you have to make a decision. If you are a student or a pupil going to primary school or secondary school or to tertiary institute or education, watch the entire video and let it help you to make a decision, to decide as a student, as a teacher. All right, so like I always say, that to understand any topic, it is important to define it. So here the topic is effects of sexual or teacher-student sexual relationship. That's going to be our focus. So it will be all right for me to underline the keyword. So the keywords here are teacher-student sexual relationship. Sexual relationship. How does this practice affect the teaching and learning process at whatever level of learning? So let us define teacher-student sexual relationship. All right, what is it? What do we mean when we say teacher-student sexual relationship? And later on, we are going to delve into the details of how the practice affects the teaching and learning process. All right. Once again, my name is Mr. Paul Chilola, your teacher on this platform. All right, so let's define teacher-student sexual relationship. All right, what do we mean when we say that teacher X is in a sexual relationship with student Y? All right, what do we mean? So we define, for the sake of this discussion, we are going to define student-teacher sexual relationship, student-teacher sexual relationship, student-teacher or teacher-student sexual relationship will be defined in this discussion. It may have a different other meanings elsewhere, but for the sake of this discussion, we are going to define a teacher-student sexual relationship as a romantic or sexual interaction between a teacher. If it is at college level, it can be a romantic or sexual interaction between the instructor or other school staff members and a student. Typically in Standard 6 or in higher education setting. All right, so this applies also to institutions such as colleges. As some of you viewers, you might be university students, so this also applies to you. Pay attention. What is the effect of falling in love with your teacher on the learning and the teaching? How does the practice affect the teaching process? How does the practice affect the learning process? So let me preempt that such relationships, we are talking about a romantic interaction or sexual interaction with your teacher or with your student. Such relationships are considered unethical. Unethical means not acceptable in our culture and tradition. One. They are also illegal. All right, so having a sexual relationship with your student or students having sexual relationship with your teacher, it's illegal, meaning that if you are breaking the law of the land, such that if you are caught in the practice, you may get on a wrong side of the law, and consequently you can be arrested. You can be arrested. That's what we mean by illegal. It's against the law. But also it is a harmful practice. It's a harmful practice because it creates a power imbalance between you, the teacher or the student, and the one that you are involved with. So it is also viewed to be some form of exploitation. In this case, the teacher is seen to exploit the student, to misuse the student. Instead of letting the student to learn or to focus on his or her education, he or she is being exploited. And so the tendency, the practice of falling in love, teachers falling in love with their students or having sexual affairs, romantic relationships, is seen to be very unethical, illegal, and also harmful. So those who practice this tendency may be a male teacher. It can involve a male teacher with a female student, right? It can be a male teacher with a female student, or it can be a female teacher with a male student. It happens also. It's not just a teacher versus female student, no. But there are also some mischievous female teachers who brandish their male students to have sex with them or to fall in love with them in a romantic or sexual interaction with them. All right? But it can also involve a male teacher with a male student. All right? It's possible also for such tendency to happen, or such a practice to take place between males. All right? You may also have a teacher, a female teacher with a female student. Female teacher with a female student. So such relationships are characterized in most cases by kissing, maybe hugging, unhealthy hugging, or kissing, where chances are available for them to do that. Right? Or they may sneak and have sexual intercourse or sexual activities. But it also involves maybe manipulation of genitalia, among other indecent activities. Genitalia are sexual organs. So those who participate in such acts, indecent acts, may be seen or found manipulating each other's sexual organs. So all these, when they take place between a teacher and a student, we are saying very unethical practice, illegal and harmful. Very, very important. So we are saying that an affair between the student and his or her teacher, romantic relationship or sexual interaction between these two, is considered to be a teacher-student sexual relationship. And we are saying it is totally not acceptable. It's in our culture for a student and the teacher to be involved in this practice. It is illegal and also very, very harmful. Very important to note. Am I talking to somebody here? All right, I hope I am. Okay. So teachers, listen, as well as students, also pay attention, because this is for you. As a teacher myself, I'm also speaking to myself. If at one point I ever got a temptation or a feeling of doing this with my students. All right, so we are saying it is totally unethical, illegal, and harmful to be involved in a romantic or sexual affair with your student. Or if you are a student listening to me now, it is totally unacceptable for you to fall in a sexual relationship with your teacher. It might happen that you are already in this relationship for the good of your own future. I beg you, I admonish you, I call upon you to go and terminate it. It's totally unethical, totally unacceptable, and it's illegal. It will land you into trouble. It will land you into trouble. If you're a teacher, you get arrested. You will lose your job and also get arrested. All right? If you are a student, it is going to affect your learning, your teaching. And consequently, the long-term effect is that it is going to affect your future. Your future is going to be doomed. Your future is going to be, it will be without direction if you are involved in this tendency. Let me call upon you to end any indecent relationship you have with your student or you have with your teacher. All right. So now let's look at the effects of sexual relationships, student-teacher sexual relationships. So we are saying student-teacher sexual relationships can have severe and far-reaching consequences on teaching and learning. So what we are saying by this is that the practice can affect, if you are a teacher, it will affect your teaching, but also if you are a student, it will affect your learning. In other words, it is going to affect the teaching and the learning processes. How? The first effect is that student-teacher sexual relationship will create what we call power imbalance. Okay? Lack of power balance, that's what it means. All right. In most cases, if you compare the status of the teacher and that of a student, it is some kind of relationship whereby the teacher has, by nature or by virtue of being a teacher, has powers over the student. So because of that, the teacher will be seen to exploit his own authority. We are saying it exploits the teacher's position of authority, creating an equal and potentially harmful dynamic. All right? It is like the teacher in this case is using his position to undermine the child. All right? To undermine the child. So in that case, the child's rights, the child's status as a student is being undermined. So the teacher in this case is seen to use or to abuse his powers, all right, over the child. That's what we mean by power imbalance. So power imbalance is one effect. Okay, so we view this effect as having the power or the tendency to exploit the teacher's position of authority. So in this case, the teacher as an authority figure is abusing his power, and he creates an equal and potentially harmful dynamic to the child. I hope we're together there. But also it may cause emotional distress. All right, so sexual relationship between the teacher and his student or student versus the teacher, it is going to create emotional distress. So this, if practiced, can lead to emotional trauma on both the student and the teacher, but it can also lead to anxiety. So where these two are available in the life of the child can be shifted away from concentrating on his or her study. All right? It can also lead to depression on the student. So imagine you have a sexual partner who is a teacher in a school. All right, and you have gone to school on a particular morning. The first thing that you'll be thinking about is that your boyfriend or your girlfriend. There is shift of concentration. Your concentration as a student will be lost. You will not be able to concentrate on your studies. You'll be emotionally affected. You'll be emotionally affected as a student. But also as a teacher, you are going to be affected. You are teaching, remember this is your child, your student, and you are teaching her in that class. You go there and to teach. but then the feeling that you have a girlfriend in that particular class will actually shift you away from concentrating on your teaching, and you begin to think about what you could have done if the two of you were alone. So we are saying the practice affects your emotion is affected. You are distressed. All right, you are distressed. So generally, by the end of the day, you always think about that affair, when you are going to meet, what you are going to do for each other. As a result, you become emotionally affected. So we are saying, as an effect, it has emotional distress, and it can lead to emotional trauma, anxiety, and depression for the student. This also applies to the teacher himself. All right. Effect number 3 is that there's a blurred boundaries. It undermines the professional teacher-student relationship, which creates confusion and mistrust. All right. The moment the two of you have fallen into a sexual relationship, the teacher-pupil relationship is eroded. As a result, you think about how you are going to take care of her or to buy her stuff, and the child also thinks of the things that you need to buy for her and all that. If you don't satisfy or fulfill your promises to her or to each other, it brings a lot of confusion, especially when people within the school, other students or staff, other teachers, have learned that you and the student are in a relationship. They lose trust over you. You lose trust as a teacher when it is seen or discovered that you are actually having sexual intercourse with the child. All right, so we are saying professionalism is lost if you are a teacher doing this. Very important to note. All right. My name once again is Mr. Paul Chilola, and I believe we are together in this discussion. So we are saying, first and foremost, a teacher or student-teacher relationship, a sexual relationship, creates power imbalance. It creates emotional distress. It creates blurred or broken boundaries. All right. Another effect is that it compromises a lot on the academic activities. All right. It compromises a lot. It can create favoritism, the teacher favoring the student, maybe treating her or him in a manner that is not equal to the way he or she treats the other students. So it can lead to favoritism, compromising academic integrity and fairness. So you hear of such teachers maybe awarding free marks to their girlfriend stroke boyfriend, maybe giving out gifts, prizes, which other students don't benefit. So we are saying it creates an academic compromise. It can lead to favoritism in this case, compromising academic integrity and fairness. It also causes loss of trust. It damages the trust between teachers, students, and parents, creating a very poisonous relationship or learning environment. So let's suppose that parents of the child have learned that teacher X is having sexual intercourse with their daughter or their son. All right, it will not go well with the teacher. Okay, you lose trust. Parents lose trust for you. All right, even other teachers, they also lose trust for you. As a result, the teaching environment is not healthy. So students who might know about the affair within the school can also lose trust for you, the teacher. So it is important that this must be stopped and only focus on the teaching and learning activities. There is also decreased student engagement. It can lead to decreased motivation, participation, and overall academic performance. The performance of the student who is having a sexual affair with the teacher can have motivation decreased, and also participation in class becomes decreased. And in the end, such a child will not perform well in any exam that comes. As a teacher is supposed to be a role model. So when a teacher falls into a relationship with his own students, he loses the modeling role. So there is negative role modeling. It promotes unhealthy attitudes towards relationships, boundaries, and power dynamics. So we are saying it compromises on academic pursuits. It leads to loss of trust. It leads to decreased student engagement in academic activities, and it creates a negative role modeling. So in other ways, the teacher loses his or her role as a model to the students. Very important. But also, if involved in such affairs, it may lead to legal and ethical consequences. You can result into serious legal and professional repercussions for the teacher. You can get arrested. You can be jailed for years, a lot of years. Now, the punishment for sleeping or having sex with your own student is jail. You go to jail for many, many years. And in so doing, there are those who depend on you as a breadwinner who also suffer a lot. Very important to note. So we are saying legal and ethical consequences is one of the effects. It also disrupts the school culture, all right? Let's suppose you are a teacher at one school and people know that you are falling in love with your own students. The school's reputation is going to be affected. So we are saying it can create a culture of fear, mistrust, anxiety, disrupting the whole school community. It creates disruption. I remember at one school where a teacher was in a sexual relationship with his own students, and the rest of the students knew about it. It created a huge commotion in the entire school. There was booing and all that. A lot of confusion erupted from the school, within the school. All right, so it's not a good tendency. But also, there are long-term consequences. This means that they can have lasting effects on the students' mental health, even future relationships. Okay, imagine this student is having sexual intercourse with his teacher. Chances of that student to get married in the future are dwindled. But also the academic pursuit and trajectory is going to be a negative one. Okay, performance is going to dwindle, and such a student cannot make it in life academically. So we are saying having sexual affairs between students and their teachers is totally a wrong thing to do, because it affects the teacher, it will affect the student alike. So it needs to be checked. Schools authorities must check that such tendencies are not practiced at their school. So to wind up everything, I would like us to finish by saying that it's essential to maintain, for schools to maintain professional boundaries and report any suspected student-teacher sexual relationships to ensure a safe and supportive learning environment. So if a school is to have a supportive learning environment where every child learns. Okay? We are saying that authorities must make sure that their schools maintain professional boundaries between teachers and the students. And if there are any attempts by teachers to coax or to brandish their students to have sexual affairs with their own students, this must be reported. It must be reported so that schools are a safe place to be for the children. Thank you very much. In case you have questions or comment, don't hesitate to contact me on the number shown there. Next time we meet, we are going to look at another hot topic, which is the effects of sexual arousal on studying, and how do you handle such arousals for you to study effectively. So don't miss. Next time, keep checking on the platform, on the forum. You are going to find another hot discussion, which is the effects of sexual arousal on studying. Sexual arousals are like sexual feelings, desiring to have sex. How does that affect you in the course of studying? Once again, my name is Mr. Paul Chilola, your presenter, your anchor on this channel. It was a big pleasure to present this to you. There are many other hot issues that affect teaching and learning. Thank you very much for being there. Remember to subscribe and like, as well as comment to this channel. For now, let's say a big bye-bye and have yourself a good night.